A Senate committee today presented a report on investigation on the crisis rocking the Edo State House of Assembly, but the state government insists it is unconstitutional. And President Muhammadu Buhari refuses to name a successor after him in 2023, fear of a political crisis. Hello everyone and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Okinbaloya, Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos. The screening of ministerial nominees have come to an end, and the ministers designate will be waiting to know their portfolios any moment from today. Well, that done, let's tell you one of President Buhari's fears. It is about who succeeds him come 2023. President Buhari says he would not name or make any comment on who might likely replace him at the end of his tenure in 2023 in order not to create problems in the future. Responding to proposals submitted by members of the progressives and academics who paid him a visit at the State House earlier today, the president further addressed the issue of Almajiri system of education, accusing state governments of not doing their jobs. He noted that Nigerians have wrongly criticized the federal government over the years. Take a listen to him.
You have to be conscious of the constitutional role of each tier of government. The people are deliberately criticizing the government. When I say the government, of course they mean the federal government, for the Almajiris. But that is the responsibility of state governments, which means the state governments are not doing their jobs. And people don't seem to care about what the Constitution have done. And I have nothing but respect for those who worked our Constitution. Secretion. I think, to me, this is very funny. I think if I identified anybody, I would create more problem for him or for her. So I would rather keep my mouth shut and let those who wanted to be presidents try as much as I did. I think you have a lot more to do, you as intellectuals, and to make sure that you correctly document Nigerian political development. It's very important for the next generation. A lot of our young children are taking things for granted. Imagine to contest election 3 times, ending up in Supreme Court 3 times. It needs a lot of conviction, you know, and hard work. But people take success for granted. They say, he is the president. As if I just closed my eyes and I got it. So, thank you very much.
Well, tonight is not going to be about the succession plan of President Buhari or any issue that has to do with the federal government. It has to do with Edo State government and the crisis rocking the Edo State House of Assembly, and perhaps by extension, the political rift between the APC national chairman and the former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole, and the governor of the state, Godwin Obaseki. We'll look at the implication of Senate's position today and the way forward for Edo State. First, let's check out some other political stories that we have for you.
Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The Senate has confirmed the 43 ministerial nominees as requested by President Muhammadu Buhari. At the end of the confirmation exercise, the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, charged the ministers to accord the National Assembly the necessary support when it comes to its oversight functions. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it will blacklist all staff who were accused of corruption during the 2019 general elections as it prepares for the conduct of the governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states in November. The Commission's head of legal services, Mrs. May Agbamuche, stated this at a meeting with members of the civil society organization in Abuja to assess INEC's preparedness for the November 2019 governorship elections in the two states. The late filing of an application by lawyers to the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and the PDP on Tuesday stalled the planned hearing of an appeal they filed against the decision of the Presidential Election Petition Court. The appeal is against a ruling of the tribunal in which it held that Atiku and the PDP do not have a reply to an application filed on May 14, 2019 by the All Progressives Congress APC, seeking among others the dismissal of their petition challenging President Muhammadu Buhari's victory at the last presidential election. A five-man panel of the court, led by Justice Mary Peter Odili, adjourned until August 20, 2019 for the hearing of the appeal. The Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, today officially declared the Islamic movement in Nigeria group led by Ibrahim El-Zakzaki has been proscribed and is henceforth classified as a terrorist group. According to him, the trust gap between the police and citizens has been narrowed, and the force has commenced the process of implementing community policing. By this proclamation, all protests by the movement are banned, and any person engaged in any manner that could advance the activities of the group shall be treated as a terrorist or an enemy of the state.
The federal government has classified them as a terrorist group and has accordingly proscribed the El-Zakzaki-led Islamic movement in Nigeria.
Well, the chamber is open and the conversation is about to begin, everyone. Let's get to it. The Senate today ordered the governor of Edo State, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, to issue a fresh proclamation letter to the 7th Edo State House of Assembly. In addition to this, the lawmakers also mandated the clerk of the House of Assembly to inform all 24 elected members via electronic and print media of the new inauguration date after receiving such from the governor. The Senate also resolved that if a fresh proclamation is not issued within 1 week, the National Assembly shall take over the functions of the Edo State House of Assembly. These resolutions were contained in a report of the Senate Ad hoc Committee, which investigated the crisis in the Edo State House of Assembly. Weeks ago, the House of Assembly had made its own position known to the crisis, which somewhat is similar to that of the upper chamber of the Senate. Meanwhile, this Edo State government is insisting that the order of the Senate to the Edo State governor will not stand. The state government is alleging that the National Assembly is operating under complete disregard to a valid injunction from the Federal High Court, restraining parties from interfering in any manner with the activities of the Edo State House of Assembly. The Edo State government's response is contained in a statement signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Mr. Osorodion Ogie, who also alleges that the Senate appears to have very scant regard for the principle of separation of powers as enshrined in our Constitution by giving directives to a governor of a state who is certainly not subject to the supervision of the National Assembly. The statement says, and I quote, "It has always been the contention of the Edo State government that the power to issue a proclamation for the inauguration of a House of Assembly as set out in Section 105, subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was duly and completely complied with, and it is not within the power of the governor to recall same once issued or to perform the same act multiple times. Once the governor issues a proclamation letter, his job is done." End of quote. The Edo State government maintains that the state is not a colony and that it will take all necessary steps within the ambit of the law to defend and validate their position on the matter. In summary, the Edo State government is saying what the Senate and the House of Reps are saying, which seems to be in tandem, is unconstitutional. Let's get talking, everyone. I have joining me from our Abuja studio one of the lawmakers who are yet to be inaugurated and is on the Adams Oshiomhole side, Honorable Kingsley Ugabi. He joins us from our Abuja studio, and from our Benin studio is a former member of the Edo State House of Assembly and the Commissioner of Information, Honorable Paul Ohambamu. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on tonight. let me turn to you, Honorable Ugabi. What the state government has done today, or what the response of the state government saying, look, this is unconstitutional. It does look like the coast is not yet clear. They've given the state governor 1 week. What is your group's immediate reaction to this, Honorable Ugabi?
Yeah, good evening, Shin. You see, what happened today was just hope for Nigeria. It was a statement that democracy at all times will at all times thrive. It was also a statement that whether we like it or not, we have people who respect the Constitution. And that Constitution is what is guiding all of us. For me, it's unfortunate that, or for us, it's unfortunate that our state is just on the news, on something that is to us a shame. For Edo State that is known to be a pace-setter on issues of governance, for Edo State that has somebody like Pa Anthony Nahoro, who moved the motion for the first motion for the independence of Nigeria, for Edo State that has people like Aneni, late Aneni, for Edo State that had people like Ogbemudia, late Ogbemudia, for Edo State that had even the national chairman of our party, Adams Oshomole, for Edo State that is in the center of almost all the democracy issues, from the time of the SDP to the time of the PDP, even now. You know, it's a shame that we are bringing ourselves to doubt even the Constitution of this republic. It's a shame. It's a shame, and it's painful for some of us who read this Constitution. I have said at most times that we should remove the story of politics. We should remove the law and talk about the story first. If we talk about the story and then apply the politics and apply the law, then our people out there will see that what is happening in Edo State is not something to write home about at all.
Honorable Ugabi, let me pause you for a moment. Let me pause you for a moment, Honorable Ugabi, and let me reach out to Honorable Ohabamu, who is from our Benin studio. Honorable Ohabamu, there's a lot of issues on the table right here. The National Assembly has spoken. It does look like there is a consensus between the two chambers of the National Assembly, and this move or disposition of the upper and the lower chambers of the National Assembly is against the position of your own side, the Governor Obaseki side.
Thank you very much. What the National Assembly has done, the Senate today mainly completed the circle of illegality which the House of Reps started. The action of the Senate and that of the House of Reps amounts to nothing. The resolution of the Senate today is illegal, unconstitutional, and in negation of the doctrine of separation of powers. The governor of Edo State has issued letter of proclamation, and that was done on the 14th day of June 2019. And by that issuance, the act was complete on its own without more. So it is functus of issue. He cannot recall it. And the clerk of the House are taking steps based on the proclamation letter and inaugurated the House. Leadership of the House has emerged. So there is nothing anyone can do about that. What the Senate and the House of Reps have done is awful display of legislative hubris and overreach. And it is very unfortunate because they have created tension where there is no tension. The House of Assembly is peaceful. Edo State is peaceful. And by this solution they pretend to be profiling, they are merely profiling a solution in search of a problem because there is no problem in Edo State at all. The House of Assembly is performing the constitutional provision that allows the National Assembly to even interfere or intervene in the affairs of a state assembly are not even there. So if the National Assembly is interpreting or deducing from the provisions of Section 11 or Section 4 and 5 to be giving them power to do what they are doing, then I must congratulate them for successfully misinterpreting the provisions of the Constitution.
All right. Let me pause you for a moment, Honorable Ohombamu. There are a lot of issues on the table. Beyond the legality, beyond the issue of separation of power, is the issue of the political interplay. The question now is that where does all this leave the people of Edo State and the issues of governance? We'll be looking at the solutions when we come back from this break, everyone. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone. Get a sense of what is happening. Edo State, by extension, the state where the national chairman of the APC comes from, is a former governor of that state. Godwin Obaseki is a very close friend to Mr. Adams Oshiomhole. At the time, he used to say that Mr. Godwin Obaseki is the software and he's the hardware of the government when he was in power. So what went wrong between these two men? If I show you this visual, perhaps the first time these two men will be meeting in the heat of the crisis at the State House during a policy conference that held at the State House in Abuja. These two men were speaking, obviously, with interventions from Mr. Aliko Dangote and the governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi. You see, both of men are having a conversation, looking like a frank one, about the rift that is happening in the state. So the question now is, with all of the crisis on the ground, can the National Assembly take over the responsibilities of the State Assembly? As it got into that, legally speaking, what is the position of the law? If that happens, where does that leave the people of Edo State? So tonight, we're breaking it down, and we have the two sides of the divide. No, we have now lawmakers to the governor's side, and we have lawmakers also to the former governor's side. Mr. Paul Ohombamu, a former lawmaker in Edo State and Commissioner for Information, has been talking to us from Benin, and Mr. Kingsley Ugabi, a member-elect in the Edo State House of Assembly, is in our Abuja studio. Let me quickly go back to you, Honorable Ohombamu. The question here is, the law specifies that the National Assembly can actually take over the responsibilities of the State Assembly should there be a crisis or it cannot sit. Are you saying that you can use the apparatus of another arm of government to twist another arm of government from performing its constitutional role? Is that what is happening in Edo State now?
Thank you very much. The constitutional provision is clear on when and how the National Assembly can interfere in the affairs of state legislature when the House of Assembly of that state cannot function. It is clear, Section 11 or Section 5. Once the House of Assembly of that cannot function, that is the only way. In this situation, that provision is non sequitur to Edo State, because in Edo State, the House of Assembly is functioning, has been operating.
But is it functioning to capacity? Because there are only about 9 members that are sitting as against...
No, there are not. The people that were sworn in, they are 12. And in any case, the same constitution, by virtue of Section 102, says vacancy in membership of the House of Assembly, just as in the National Assembly, cannot vitiate or stop the sittings. This is why you find out that you discover that in the National Assembly, particularly the House of Representatives, they are virtually empty all the time. Yet proceedings continue. I think what should form the basis of inquiry is to ask the question, at what stage did the National Assembly encounter their own epiphany? But what gave them the power?
Honorable Ohombamu, yes. The governor and the state government said that it's shown in the statement that there is a case in court, and by that they will not yield to the dictate of the National Assembly. So when they invoke that portion of the Constitution to take over the activities of the State Assembly, and if the governor is not yielding, are you not seeing a constitutional crisis, a face-off between two governments?
Thank you very much. This matters, all disputes relating to issue of inauguration are in court, 3 different suits. And I am surprised that matters in court, the National Assembly can still interfere and discuss it when even their own rules, by the House rules, House of Reps rules, Order 9, says the House will not make reference to any matter that is awaiting judicial decision. in such a way that it will jeopardize members there too. So I am surprised that this matter is sub judice, and they ought not to even refer to it. And the governor of Edo State is law-abiding. He cannot do anything that will derogate from the potency of the law.
All right, let me pause it for a moment. Let's hear from Honorable Ugabi. Honorable Ugabi, the state government has said what is happening in the two chambers of the National Assembly is illegality. As far as their intervention is concerned, can one arm of government be twisting the other and giving a command to a state governor who is in his own right, as his own authority?
Thank you very much, Sheung. I think I missed it first when I didn't thank the National Assembly. We need to thank them because when even issuing a proclamation, because everybody talk about proclamation, we heard today when the reports were presented to the Senate in the floor. You need to have the date of that proclamation. Even when you write a letter must have features. There must be characteristic of how you write a letter. There must be date. There must be time. Today, it was also confirmed from the report of the senators that the commissioner of police of that state agreed that that proclamation was done at 9:30 in the night. I feel, like I said, it's unfortunate that even my brother talking there, Honorable Obamu, who was a member of that house, who knows the rules, that you don't go into the House of Assembly with a short knicker. You don't go on with proceedings at that time of the night. This is what we're talking about. Everything has been illegality on top of illegality on top of illegality. That is why I said,
Honorable Gabi, let me ask you this. I put this same question. Sorry, I put this same question to Honorable Onhobamu. The question is that the government has made his position known that it will not succumb to illegality that is happening in the National Assembly. That's how they describe it. Should the National Assembly order to take over the assembly in the Edo State and the state government there refuses, what do you think could happen?
Well, of course, like you know, it is the Constitution that is supreme here. If the National Assembly sees that the Edo State government or the executive arm of government in Edo State is not ready, who in the first place shouldn't even interfere in the issue of the legislature? It's a different arm of government. The executive can do their thing and the legislature does do theirs. But in the case where they see that there are issues and they decide to come in, it is first to protect lives, it is first to make peace and good governance for the people of Edo State. I think they are our big brothers in the Senate. They know what it takes. They know what it takes for everybody to understand the Constitution.
Well,
and they know what it takes for everybody to follow
our time is up, but look, a lot of people, Edo State people's lives are going to be affected in terms of governance. I have 20 seconds for both of you, and I want you to tell, frankly, Nigerians the truth on how you think this will be resolved, because underlying problem here is a political rift between Mr. Adams Oshiomhole and Governor Godwin Obaseki. What, in your own right, do you think could be the possible solution? 20 seconds, Mr. Ugabi.
First, at all time, I've always made it clear. It's not a case of Adams Oshiomhole. It's a case of the integrity of the Edo State House of Assembly. If a new proclamation is issued, and then the 24 of us, for God's sake, we don't quarrel among ourselves. We don't have issues. We just need a new proclamation so that the 24 of us, we go in and serve our constituency and be able to tell our people all those things we campaign about. Of course they know.
Honorable, let me allow Honorable Onhobamu's 20 seconds also. What do you suppose it should be the solution within what a lot of people know as a political crisis in Edo State between Governor Obaseki and former Governor Adams Oshiomhole? 20 seconds, please.
Thank you very much. I think the real solution is that the members who are yet to be inaugurated should go to the House of Assembly and get inaugurated. No one is stopping them. Then the National Assembly should be conscious of their limitations so that they know when to apply the brakes, because they cannot continue to show this unkind and unfriendly imperial face to Edo government and the people. That is the solution. They should not interfere in Edo matter. That's it.
Honorable Paul Onhobamu, Commissioner for information in Edose. Thank you so much for talking to us. Honorable Honor Kogie Kingsley Ugabi, member-elect of Esako constituency in the Edo State House of Assembly. Thank you so much for coming on today. Well, that's our proceeding. That's the program today, and the eyes have it. Whatever you do, make sure that you are on the people's side, the popular side. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Akimale. Bye for now.